He made 300 course sales from just a couple of videos. And each one of his courses was around $500. So you can calculate how much money that actually is. Muhammad is one of the members of my close community, Instamasters. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you an exclusive interview where he talks about what he did, what he learned from the community, and how you can replicate his success and get even better results. Let's get into the interview. Everyone, so in today's video, we have Muhammad here, who is a member of Instamasters community, and he's gonna tell us today about his recent success. I think it's gonna be valuable for all of you to stay until the end of the video to listen to this, because it's a practical story, it's something that happened to him, and I think it's gonna be huge for everyone. So welcome, Muhammad. Thank you for joining on this call.
Thank you, Alex. How are you?
Can you tell us more about what's your background? Why did you decide to do anything with Instagram
Okay.
and in
Yeah.
general social media?
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I come from like financial background industry. So I've been there in that particular industry for like 17 years. And then I wanted to sort of like build my own company. And through social media, I kind of like saw this as like a great opportunity to sort of like start building a firm that is already running for so many people, and it gives them like great accountability and great results using social media as a platform to monetize. So that sort of like intrigued me to start this, and it actually helped me sort of grow into the industry as well as understand what sort of challenges we have, and then how exactly we can literally use social media for our own benefit. Because I mean, let's be honest, most of the people in this platform like to just see the content and then consume it. They're not actually taking action on how exactly they can use this opportunity as something that can actually change their life financially, as well as can give them much needed freedom.
Exactly. Yeah, I also think so. I think like right now there's so much content going around on social media, like in general how you can make money online, but everyone just clicks on that save button, send button,
Exactly.
post a story, but no one actually goes in depth and learns about stuff to
Yeah.
actually execute it. Because as you know, like knowledge is everywhere. Like you can find knowledge on ChatGPT if you want. You can just
Yeah.
ask it in whichever situation you are. You just explain it very well. You will get like a good solution for your problem. But the problem is
Yeah.
a lot of people don't execute on that. Like, and the fact that when you start executing, the results are just inevitable, especially with social media. As long as you post, and post daily, you execute on that, you do it with at least a little bit of consciousness of let's try this, and so on. As long as you
Mhm.
do it that way, the success is inevitable. It's just the amount of time that's
Yeah.
needed to achieve the success. It's different for everyone. It depends on how much you post, it depends on how invested you are. But of course,
Yeah.
I think success on social media is inevitable
Mhm.
as long as you're consistent and hardworking. And like in general, what would you say was the biggest problem before you even joined the community, before you started all of this? What was your biggest problem with
So
social media?
I would say, Alex, the biggest problem for me, and sort of like reason to join the community was the challenge how to sort of like map the social media. So that was like my biggest challenge, and I'd say that going through the courses and trying to understand how exactly we execute. So, I mean, initially I knew what I had to do, but then I was not able to get anywhere near to what exactly I wanted to do. So that's where I was struggling the most. And that's what, when I joined the community, it kind of like gave me that clarity, as well as it also gave me the narration that, okay, if this is not going to work, what else we can try for? And then obviously it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the great thing about having a community and not only a course, because if I or anyone else just sells a course, right? The problem with that is you always have unanswered questions. So
Yeah,
no matter how perfect your course is it 5 hours or is it 55 hours? Doesn't matter. You can't answer every possible situation. And
yeah,
that's why I like the community, because you also have the option to ask questions,
mhm,
and you also have the option to jump on calls, like either with me personally or with, accountability calls, like people in the
yeah,
community, with people who are sharing their actual experiences also as they're happening. And it
yeah,
just gives so much ideas. As you know, like on these calls, I don't like to sit down and pretend like I'm the smartest person in the room, because I never think I am. My goal with the accountability calls is just to get people together who are currently working on the same thing, and to just hear everyone's experiences, because if something worked for you or didn't work for you, it may work for someone else. It doesn't mean
yeah,
necessarily that it's not gonna work. So that's
yeah.
why I like the energy of that. And like when you joined the community, what made you join the community? Why did you decide to join that
I
specifically
think
to?
for me, Alex, the most important aspect of like joining the community was I reached to a bottleneck situation where I was trying every possible thing, but it wasn't working for me because I would say that the execution in terms of understanding was too different. So I think when they kind of like summarize, they started to like produce results for me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think that's also like what a lot of people feel, because when you go into this world of, in general, online selling, um,
Mhm.
when you enter that world, it kind of looks like it's simple, right? It's like you just post content, it gets traffic,
Yeah,
you get leads and all that. But when you actually sit down and you go one by one and you see, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, and then it just starts to, compile on you, and you are not sure, okay, where do I start? So I think that's why it's important to have a plan in place, and
yeah,
we'll come to that later. But I think a crucial role for doing like any online work in social media, like in 2025, is AI tools. Like if you
yeah,
know to utilize AI tools, I bet you can like cut off 95% of the work actually. Like you don't
yeah,
need a team, you don't need to manage sales representatives, you don't need to do anything specific. Of course, like it all depends on your offer situation and everything else, but AI tools can just save so much time. And like
yeah,
since joining and your recent, can you tell us like more about your recent success? Like, and this is like the good stuff I think the people will want. Like, firstly,
yeah.
what did you achieve, and like what was the process behind of what you achieved?
Okay, so what I was doing, like I firstly started like a new Instagram account because the previous account was not sort of like producing the results for me. And alongside, I was working on TikTok and sort of like Facebook as well. So I'm using all the three platforms. But what I did with TikTok is like I reset its algorithm completely. And then I made my first post based on what exactly I studied from Virality AI. So what I did that I sort of like sorted out the niche that I was into, and then I sort of created a list of I would say 20 accounts, and then I studied how exactly those accounts are performing. Then I evaluated on how their hooks work, how their captions work, what sort of messaging they're using. And then what I did is I used ChatGPT to sort of like model those specific hooks and captions and then specific messaging. And then what exactly it was like one video that I just posted on TikTok and it kind of just like blew up like overnight. So it like within sort of 2 days, I was at like 700 leads with about 100K views. So that was like the taste of first success that I had on the social media platform. And once I was like able to model that, I mean, every other video was hitting that kind of mark going forward.
Nice. Okay. And what do you think, like from those leads, how many conversions will you possibly get like on your
So in
course?
terms of like leads with conversion, it was like about 60% was being converted. And then obviously
Nice.
it would be around 40, 45 who would be closing completely. So, I mean, getting the leads is the initial step, but then it comes down to your personal accountability as well as how exactly you're able to drive value for the people and how exactly you often can like support and help their problem. So that comes down to a very individual aspect on how good your product is for the people.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, do you think like 45% from the initial like
Yeah.
600 leads, I think you said.
Mhm.
So I think that that would be potentially, of course, like 200 to 300 sales, which when
Exactly.
you think about it, like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy, like from just and when you have like you're selling that course which is around $400-500, right?
Yeah,
So just in terms of revenue, of course, that revenue won't be like at once. It will probably
yeah,
be in installments. It will probably
yeah,
delayed. Some people take time to convert and all of that.
yeah,
But when you take into consideration that just from a couple of reels, you convert 200 or 300 people on a
yeah,
$500 course, like
yeah,
somebody would tell you, like, are you joking? Like, are you
yeah,
serious? I know a lot of people think that the quality of the audience on TikTok is bad and all that. The quality of the audience can definitely be a bit lower, but it all
Mhm.
depends on your messaging. If your messaging is bad, as you said, if you didn't do the
Yeah,
research to attract the right type of person, like
mhm.
it wouldn't matter. And that's
Yeah,
why I always tell people is like, yeah, sure, Instagram is my preferred platform for posting
mhm.
because of automations and all of that.
Yeah,
But there's absolutely no reason to repost your content across all social media
yeah,
because what are you losing? Like, it's just maybe additional 5 minutes for you to just click,
exactly.
post on other social media, and you never know when it will blow up. And
Mhm.
as you said, after that, it's all about accountability and your skills in converting those people. Because, like, let's be real, like, DMs are well where the sales happen. So,
Yeah,
and if you automate the DMs
mhm.
with the DM automation tool, it will definitely help. But people simply love that, personal connection that you
Yeah,
can get with them, talking to them, expressing yourself, seeing what's their problem, connecting with them on the call. And that time investment is just irreplaceable. I can tell you from my example, like with this community, people that hop on a call with me, people that chat with me, people that I talk with and I
mhm.
explain the system and I try to deliver as much value as possible, those are the people that stay the longest. Those are the people that later on buy something else. Those are the
Yeah,
people that actually continue to not to really be only your customers, but actually to trust your service.
yeah,
So, in my opinion, I think what you did is just you perfectly summarized everything. Like basically, the specific change that you did is you stopped like relying on algorithm, on trends, and all.
yeah,
You did your research. You you put in the work. You found your niche. You researched, and then on that, based on that, you
mhm.
created content, and that's the huge change, and that's something that a lot of people neglect. That's why I created that course, in the part of the course in the classroom with
Yeah,
deep niche research with ChatGPT, so that someone who's just starting, they
mhm.
realize, okay, I need to do this. Like I need to do this
Mhm.
niche research because
Mhm.
without that, like nothing
Yeah.
really happens. So what would be like the one underrated strategy that you learned either from the community, from me, or somewhere from maybe from practical
Yeah.
applying that really like worked really really well like for you?
So for me, I would say the most underrated strategy is understanding your niche and then sort of doing the right research on the accounts that you're looking for. Because I would say most of the people who start into this particular business model, they struggle firstly with finalizing the niche because they are too confused. And then if they have even finalized the niche, they don't know what sort of people they're looking to sort of model their content because that's a very, very integral part of this particular journey.
A lot of people skip that step, and it's
Yeah.
just as you said, so important. Like just as in any business, like, and
Mm.
social media is just one way to market your business. There's many other
Yeah.
ways, but social media is one way. This is business above all, because like if you don't know who you are targeting, who you are selling to, how are you
Yeah.
gonna sell actually? Like it's impossible. And the
Exactly.
same thing is with marketing. Like if you create content which is again some kind of value, if you're not driving that value to
Mhm.
the right person, they won't engage, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's just perfectly said.
Mhm.
Okay, and do you have like any advice in general you want to give to people who are just starting out, who feel
Yeah.
stuck, overwhelmed, like all
Mhm.
that stuff?
So for people who are actually starting out, I mean, I would say do the right research from like AI tools. Like, firstly, on Virality AI, you have 200 searches for free without paying a penny. So even if you have done like, let's say, 100 searches, you have content for like literally 6 months. You don't even have to do any research after that. You just model it and then just save those. It comes down to how organized you are. Because if you can use free things, then obviously you have far more content and a far more deeper understanding of the business that you require. And then obviously once the money starts to come in, you can use those profits to do reinvestment on tools and products that your business needs. So that's something that is very important for someone who's starting up, to do the right research. All the tools are there. It's just all about implementation.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Okay, and just a couple more questions. So, how would you describe in general the community and the courses for people who are, let's say, thinking about joining? Was it
Mhm.
useful for you? What was your favorite part and all that?
In terms of like community, the best thing I really liked about is the courses were very short and very targeted. So it's not like you're spending days and hours trying to understand how exactly you're going to implement it. So that's one of the best things that I really liked about, because there are certain courses available on the internet and on in the online space which are like really long, takes a lot of time for you to understand, and then it takes you forever to sort of implement that because there is so much information for you to process and then actually execute on it. So in that aspect, this particular community like saved a whole lot of time for me as well. And in terms of like the support, the community is like very supportive. If you have any kind of questions, you literally ask them in the community. If you have any wins, you post them, you get reviews. You have different people to sort of like understand what's working for them, and then can you model that into your own business as well. So that's something that's really great about the community.
Nice. Okay, thank you for that. So, just to wrap it up, like in general, do you have something else that you would tell the audience, that you would tell someone who's trying, who's just stuck, they don't know if this is gonna work out for them? Do you have
Yeah.
something to tell to that
Yeah,
person?
definitely. I mean, I would say to everyone who's starting out or who's sort of like starting to think about doing this particular business is, I am telling you that sometimes you will be stuck. Things will not make sense to you. And then all of a sudden, everything will start making sense to you. So it's the persuasive nature that you need to just have in order to start getting results.
Exactly. And what I like to tell people, I mean, this is not something that I tell only to people who, let's say, buy my things,
Mhm.
courses, community. It's not something that I tell to those people. I literally tell this to my friends who are telling me I want to start social media. So I just tell them, okay, if you want to do that, focus on content, create content for 6 months. Don't think
Mhm.
about anything else. Just
Exactly.
create content until you figure it out. Until you figure out the content.
Yeah.
Then when you figure out content, as you said, like everything starts to fall into place. But
Mhm.
the problem is so many people give up like way earlier than that. They post for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, especially if they are trying to post talking videos, very let's say long form videos and so on. It's not picking up that fast. It
Yeah.
takes time, and they give up way before they see the actual results. And I think also another important thing is you need to be satisfied with small results. Like just
Yeah.
because someone, just as you, for example, is getting 100,000 views, that
Mhm.
makes a lot of people unsatisfied with getting 3,000 or 5,000
Yeah.
views. But they don't realize that 3 or 5,000 views is still a hell of a lot of views. Just imagine like 5,000 people in one room watching you do something. Like
Exactly.
if you can't sell to that audience, the problem is either the messaging, you're attracting the wrong people, or your offer is bad. So it's
Yeah.
not about getting more views.
Yeah.
It's more about like structuring your business better. And
Mhm.
as I said to you, like I'm so happy to see that you got the results because I know you've been putting the effort
Yeah.
for the longest time, and I'm so happy for that. Thank you again for this video. I think it's gonna be a huge thing for a lot of people. Firstly, who are starting, who are maybe
Yeah.
you're not yet motivated, and also for people like who are maybe on their way, they want to improve something. I'm sure they can
Yeah.
contact you even to ask you something specific
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
I missed here. And
Mm.
again, thank you so much for giving us your time, and all the best, Muhammad.
Thank you, Alex. Take care. Have a great evening. Bye bye.
Okay, so that was it. Thank you again for watching. Hope you learned something new. And if you're still on the fence whether you should join Instamasters, we still have an option to join 7 days completely free. You can enter, learn whatever you want, and exit if you don't like it and keep all of the knowledge. It's basically like you're test driving the car, but you can actually keep the car after the test. By the way, we are increasing the price very soon, so I recommend you join right now, test it. If you like it, you will keep the price forever, and if the price increases, it will never come back. With that being said, thank you again for watching and see you inside. Cheers!